Yeah, a lot of leaks going on at the moment. Leaks in politics, leaks in the American election, leaks in the French election. And I can tell you why all of this is happening. Right today, Emmanuel Macron confirmed that some of the information that has escaped the enclosure and gotten out into the public realm, the 9+ gigs worth of that's a lot of typing kind of emails that is out there now, that some of it is true. Now, he says some of it is fake, some of it is faked for obvious reasons, which you can look into yourself, but I can tell you why this is happening. Information is getting out from politicians and other private actors into the public sphere, and it seems to be that a lot of this information comes out of the secretive data chambers of globalists, of leftists, of socialists, of communists, and so on. You look at Podesta, the DNC, and so on. And there's a reason why it's happening. And it's not just that there are grossed out insiders, say, in the Democrat Party, who thought that they were signing up for a little something called democracy and found out that basically Bernie Sanders was being railroaded off into a side junction so that Team Hillary could charge through the primaries and pretty much off a cliff. Maybe they got disgusted from the inside looking at the massive leftist collusion with the mainstream media, which we see every time we happen to brush past the gooey, sticky, gelatinous cube ochre of the mainstream media, which is constantly burying problems on the left, imagining problems on the right, lying and obfuscating and generally manipulating like a squid attempting to get away from your hands, squirting out a lot of oldie-time, old-fashioned dinosaur legacy media ink to stain your skin for what seems like a hell of a long time. Look at what's happened when Antifa and other leftist agitators show up to disrupt and use violence at free speech rallies in the United States. Well, I didn't really believe in omniscience until I heard about Paul, and now I bow down before the kind of Hindu god with 6,000 different eyes, all of which are looking up your underpants. And they have been able to go out and find people. A couple of photos, half covered, up, just eyeballs. They can go and find people, like they found this professor in California who was using a bike lock to whack people. And why are they focusing on all of this leftist stuff? Well, they do actually, some information does get out from the right? The RNC or RNC style organization had its information floated from inside to outside, but it turned out to be pretty boring stuff and not particularly exciting. And why? Why is that? Well, it is because the left covers up everything that the left does wrong. They cover up everything that the globalists do wrong. They cover up every kind of corruption and refuse to examine or explore any of this kind of corruption. So, of course, the left is sailing in this giant mainstream media-enforced biosphere of invulnerability to investigation. Whereas the right, the non-leftists, well, they know if anything bad gets out there, it's going to be amplified, broadcast, laser printed, Floyd style on the moon. So they're a little jumpy. They're a little careful. Even in a private call, they make a joke. Oh, it's just a joke, just in case. So they know that the machinery of the mainstream media and a lot of the globalists within the deep state in just about every Western country are gunning for them, are trying to find stuff which they can then broadcast to everyone to take them down. Whereas if you're on the left, invulnerability shield, immunity shield. You have the blood and ink-stained hands of the Praetorian Guard of the mainstream media keeping all problems at bay, covering up everything you have done. So the left kind of got lazy, kind of felt shielded, kind of felt like, well, we don't have to worry about it too much because even if something does happen to escape, the mainstream media will tamp it down right away. Because the mainstream media covers for lefties and attacks non-lefties. So, the mainstream media says, we're objective. We want the facts. We don't let our ideology interfere with our reporting, which, as everybody knows who picks up a newspaper or goes to a mainstream media website, is utter and complete nonsense. Utter and complete nonsense. They are shilling for the left. They are covering up for the globalists. They are covering up for the socialists. Have you heard much about Venezuela, where people are starving to death and being driven over by government army vehicles? No. Because the left is failing. The left is failing. Their socialism, central planning is failing in Venezuela. So you hear nothing because they don't care about the poor. They care about power. They don't care about starvation. They care about control. And there's no language they will not use to achieve it. So why is all this information passing through the barrier from private, from secret, to public and open? Because it's blowback for the mainstream media constantly covering up for leftists. Constantly covering up migrant crime. Constantly covering up for globalism. Constantly covering up for the failures of central planning, and constantly blaming every goddamn problem that the government creates through an excessive application of coercive power on the free market, on freedom. Cover the blood and blame the sky. Cover the bodies and blame the free. That's the gig. That's the job. And people are getting a little sick and tired of it. And this is why you're getting leaks. This is why you're getting hacks. This is why this information is passing through the barrier from private to public. Mainstream media will not do the job that they even remotely claim that they're going to do. Their commitment to impartiality and objectivity is a cover, is a distraction. It's like the person who bumps into you so that the pickpocket can take your wallet. It is the distraction from the real job. See Mike Cernovich, the White House press room, saying to the reporters, why don't you cover violence against Trump supporters? Why not? But we all know why. Because that's part of the plan, to intimidate non-leftists, remove them from the public sphere, shut them up, get them out. And this is why it's happening. It's an attempt to regain some kind of balance in society. The information that's floating out, the mainstream media should be investigating it, should be looking into it, but they're not. They're covering up as much as they possibly can of anything negative that happens on the left or anything negative that happens within the globalist agenda. Cover up, cover up, cover up. Oh yeah? We're pulling that information out. And that's why it's happening. And it's going to keep happening, I predict, until and unless the mainstream media starts doing the real job. The job they say they're doing, the job they say they have committed to, which is never going to happen. Which is why you're going to hear a hell of a lot more from real heroes, from real truth tellers. People like Mike Cernovich, people like James O'Keefe, people like Chuck Johnson, the 10-finger blurred typing fest of sausages known as Paul. Because somebody has to balance out the incredible propaganda and cover-ups coming from the left. And that is what's driving this. And I just wanted to remind you that heroes come in all shapes and all sizes. And I just want to say, to those who are exposing the lies, I don't condone any method of getting this information illegally, but for those who are reporting on it honestly, thank you, thank you, thank you.